Hey, hey, welcome back, guys. All right, let's go ahead and jump on into this. Actually, I think we're going to start this deck. This is a collective message, not zodiac specific, but we will call it zodiacs as we see them. So we have the energy of emotions or love that is preserved for somebody. Somebody is, it's like I'm keeping the light on for you. I'm keeping your dinner in the oven. I'm holding space for you. This wonderful Queen of Cups. Although she's holding space for someone, there is no guarantee, and she knows this. There's no guarantee that there's going to be success in this matter. She might even be wondering, is this even a good idea? Somebody could have a patio that they sit on. They may have some wrought iron work or tile work or something. The balcony, the banister here is really beautiful. It's really ornate. This could be somebody going and having a cup of coffee, and they're sitting next to a place that has like a patio or something and has a balcony or, a guardrail around it. But I just feel like we have this very specific, deep contemplative. She's like, I wait, but I don't believe that this is going to yield great results. But I find myself holding space anyway. Six of Swords. Even though she does this, she says, I know I should let this go. I know I should move on. This could be a divine feminine. This could be a water sign specifically. Now we shift into Queen of Wands. I don't think that either the Queen of Cups nor the Queen of Wands really represents what zodiac our character has, because I think it's more about them sitting here in the energy of, I hold emotion and I wait for something when I know I should step more into my Queen of Wands energy and I should walk away. I should be on the other side of the gate with my suitcases packed and I should be expecting better, expecting more. I shouldn't be, look, nobody puts baby in a corner, okay? That's the message on this one. Nobody should be putting baby in a corner. And our feminine knows this. Four of Cups is upright. It's just such a disappointment is how she's feeling right now. It's like, but it's such a damn shame that I got to let this thing go instead of wait for it, because I know that I shouldn't be waiting. I know I deserve better, or I know that I shouldn't be holding space for so long. But it's so hard to let it go because it feels like such a, like, what a waste. What is it that you think is a waste? Having to let go of this, even though obviously she thought it was something really grand, really great. We have the blank card. That's interesting. She can't quite answer that. We have got the Nine of Cups sideways. Okay, so this is a feminine, and we're watching her like think through this whole experience and say, look, I know that this didn't really make me happy. So why am I saying it's such a waste to have to let it go? It didn't really thrill me to my soul. It didn't really rock my world. It didn't really make me that happy. So is it really a waste at all? If it's hard for me to pinpoint what made me so happy that I continue to wait for it to return. Who is it or what is it? I still don't know if this is a person or a job or, okay, we have the Star. It was a wish fulfillment. This could have been a life goal. This could have been something that she's waited for a really long time for, like, her success to come. She's waited to blast off into, success. She's waited to be a household name. She's, kept the faith. She's kept grinding and trying to follow her dreams, but the dreams aren't yielding the results. And maybe she stayed like at a job waiting to get, the promotions, waiting to be elevated, wanting really badly. I keep feeling like she put herself into a situation where she was always giving her best, but waiting to be chosen. And there's a part of her that's like, this is not the way it's supposed to be. I shouldn't be waiting to be chosen. I totally agree. We do have this Four of Pentacles in the reverse. The fact that it was a wish come true, here's the thing. She went after her dream. Sometimes the reality of it is the dream that we want isn't as good as what we thought it was going to be, but we followed our dream anyway. And then we found out, hey, this actually isn't that grand. Now she is under the impression, or has, I think, been under the impression that somehow I failed. Somehow I keep waiting for my big break and I'm not getting it. How come I can't seem to get this? God, it could have been so great. When I think that's the wrong perspective. The truth of it is, what she's found is what it is. It's not fun. If maybe this is one of those things where unless you're in with the in crowd, you can't elevate above a certain level. You get, plateaued, and that's where you're going to stay. Maybe she reached a level of success. She's definitely successful. We have her as a queen twice. This is a very talented person, but she was hoping to, skyrocket. Instead, she hit a plateau, but it could be that other energies are like, not all things are set up to be fair. I'm just saying that perhaps this is as high as she was ever going to reach because this is how the game is played. If this was about a career path, it's like you have to pay your dues and then you get to elevate to the next plateau. But then at some point it's like, yes, but the really upper echelon is reserved only for those that are already, handpicked. They're shoehorned in. You can't get that upper slot. You can't progress because that's reserved for somebody else who's in the in crowd. And I mean, I'm sorry to say that life sometimes is not fair, but the reason I'm saying all this is because she didn't fail. She did amazing. She went after her dream. She found that maybe her dream isn't really all that awesome. And now she can let it go. Not because she's like, yeah, I did that and it didn't work out, but because she can say, oh, I did that. I went as far as any person possibly could who was, putting all of their energy into it. I came, I conquered. Sometimes to reach our goal doesn't mean our goal is going to be happy. And that's a different spin on this. 5 of Swords, King of Wands. Yes, but it pisses her off. This is not the way she wanted it to go. I get it. This is not at all the way it was supposed to go. She really had envisioned this other life for herself. But let's put it this way. Maybe she thought, this pathway is going to lead me to this amazing, like, I have to go this pathway because it's the only way that I get to that stardom, that success. And then I can meet the love of my life, and then everything else falls into place. I almost feel like this was about a feminine who went after a career path or a lifestyle. She was trying so hard to make it to the top, only to discover that she made it to the level of where she was able to see what the whole situation was about, and it really isn't that fun. But she still kind of has this frustration or even anger because she's like, but I was supposed to break on through to the other side, and then I would find everything that I ever wanted. I would find that perfect match. I would be recognized by somebody who see how successful I really am, see how I made it when very few can do what I do. It feels like she keeps thinking that there's always something more she was supposed to achieve. So then she could finally have her big success, and then she could finally meet the love of her life. Then she could finally have it all. And I'm thinking that pushing and cracking the whip over ourselves, like we're a racehorse being urged to run faster, is ridiculous sometimes because we already did our best. And maybe the situation that we thought we were supposed to go down isn't good enough for us. Maybe we deserve a different route. Maybe she's been pushing so hard against this, I have to be successful in this, not realizing you already are. But now, honestly, this pathway is not good enough for you. You deserve better. We got an 8 of Swords in the reverse. I think if she can assimilate that, and maybe this is what she's sitting here contemplating, is maybe I didn't fail. Maybe I went as far as I could, only to find out I don't even like this. And maybe it's totally fine that I go a different direction. Maybe I've been telling myself that there's only way I can get my success, when in fact, I had as much success as I could here. The truth of it is my life's path doesn't go in this direction. I'm supposed to, it's not even about retreating. It's about make a left turn and get off of this road. She has a better life path up ahead for her. I love the fact that this is challenging the idea that sometimes we think if we, don't make our mark in this world the way we thought we were going to, that somehow that means we failed or that means we backed down. No, it isn't. Sometimes it's that that's not even a path that we really truly want. Queen of Swords. I would say that's definitely the way to interpret this. She's extremely astute in seeing it this way now. I think she knows better. She knows that this is not the way to look at it anymore. She can cut herself free of this. She can go in a new direction. This is deep contemplation with her higher self. Ace of Cups. This is awesome. She boils it down and says, okay, let me stop kind of being rude to myself, feeling like I have to keep on at something. or feel like a failure if I don't, succeed in the way I thought I was going to. And now instead she's realizing, wait a second, am I even happy? Shouldn't I strive to be happy too? Doesn't my joy in life matter? Isn't that the mark of like being successful in life also, is that you're resonating with the path that you're on? I feel like she hasn't liked what she was doing in a long time, and so she's ready to let it go anyway. This Page of Cups, she may very well go back to something that she did before. This is the very much like wake up and smell the coffee energy on this. There's a nostalgia. There's looking at, I almost feel like she was seeking a different life path, and she found it, and she did well on it, but it didn't yield the joy that she thought it was going to, and she's pretty much done with it. And I think this is not somebody regrouping and going back, sad and beaten to where they used to be. This is somebody saying, honestly, I realize I had it better before in the other pathway that I once upon a time knew. I had a better life back in the town that I lived in before. I had a better life, a better quality life, a happier life, a more productive life, a less expensive life in the life I had prior to me chasing this huge dream and goal of mine. So I feel like she is moving back, but she's not going backwards in life. We've got this Eight of Cups. No, this is the correct pathway. Like, okay, let's look at it like this. If we had a map in front of us and we said, okay, I am starting from here, but I'm going to go, I think that this is the right path for me to take. I'm going to go 600 miles to go see some grand thing, and I might want to live there. And we drive those 600 miles and we get there and it's like, ew, this is nothing like the brochure said. This is not fun. This is so underwhelming. I'm still going to stick it out for a while, but honestly, this doesn't work. You know what? I'm going to drive 600 miles back to where I originated from, regroup. And then now that I know I don't want to live, whatever in the East or the West, now I know, let me regroup, and I'm going to go the polar opposite direction. This is just coming back to center. That's all this is. She's coming back to center and then starting out on her next life adventure. So much better than wasting a ton of time continuously investing in an avenue that's not working. We go right back to that Queen of Cups for her. That Queen of Cups, again, there's a sense of like emotional satisfaction, but this time it doesn't have the energy of the waiting that we saw on the first one, coupled with the idea that I don't think this is going to work. I kind of think I should give up on this. This time she comes back to center. She goes back to, wherever she maybe originated from, wherever her, like, if she lived in some other town, or maybe she goes back to a previous job that she held, a previous career path. And there's a moment where it's like, okay, I'm actually much happier. I'm regrouping. Ace of Swords, and I'm realizing something true. What is the truth here? We have the Knight of Wands. She's getting her mojo back. She's getting her spice back. She's getting her hobbies, her interests, her creative spark back. She really needed to simplify life. This is about going backwards to land back at the best version of ourselves, the version of ourselves that originally was like inspired and had dreams. It's time for her to either have a new dream, but she needed to come back to baseline first, go back to a previous career, get inspired again. I don't know though. This is the Knight of Cups in the reverse. It doesn't actually look like she's interested in leaving just yet. Looks like she comes back to center, returns to a previous career, returns to a previous place that she lived, and finds herself very comfortable finding the truth that honestly, everything is starting to feel so much better. This is such a much better scenario, such a much better environment for me. All of this is really awesome. Wow. And this is where she meets the love of her life. It's not that she's out looking, it's that it comes toward her. I almost feel like this is one of those situations where the location that she's in, the geographical location that she's in, is as important as any other component of her life. So like where she is, where she chooses to be or live, her roots are there, but that's where all the good stuff is going to be magnetizing and attracting into her world. She may discover that there's a place on earth that clicks for her, that works for her. We have an Eight of Wands. She's been out running around trying to find the place that she feels like she belongs. And she's kind of, we'll say she's explored, but she might have wasted a bit of energy. And you notice how it's almost like we're seeing this in a swirling like tornado. I'm feeling like there's no place like home. There's no place like home. So I don't know if we've got, Kansas or something here, just because I'm picturing Wizard of Oz. You want to leave, you want to go someplace else, only to discover that there is a place that you already feel at home. There is a place where I think she's getting pulled back to where she came from, where maybe she was raised, maybe in a small town, maybe something like that. And it turns out that's where the greatest happiness is. Look at this. We're definitely talking about a physical location somewhere on earth. Now here, I usually think about this as specifically Italy and Sicily being represented here. Just because you can see the boot and you can see kicking the football here. But the globe, some location is really important. It's where our character feels most comfortable. It's where they feel they actually belong. So wherever somebody's roots are, and it doesn't mean that they have to all go to Sicily, every character that this could apply to all has to go to Sicily or go to Italy. No, but let's say there's a really great Italian restaurant in someone's hometown. And they're like, you know what? I've been all over, but honestly, that little restaurant in my hometown, they made the best pizza there, or they made the best, Italian food I ever had. It could be something more significant like that, where it's like some of the things that our character really loves, some of the things that are like soul food to them, or great memories, or, something that just feels like home to them. They're taking the leap of faith to go to the place where they feel the best. And that is actually internally, it's like that's where their greatest success is going to be. That's where all their big transformations are going to happen. That's where they actually wind up encountering their soulmate. They needed to go back. How interesting that this, oftentimes we get those stories where it's like, oh, this character is moving on in their life, they're leaving everything behind, and we're always like, yay. But in this storyline, sometimes to really move forward in life, we need to be on the right train tracks first. Otherwise, we can go 600 miles in the wrong direction. We can move our life forward being in a place that we already knew very well. Sometimes that's where you get the best foothold is, when you wind up in a place that you know very, very well. Of course, it's wonderful to go and adventure, go out into the wide world, but sometimes where your roots are is where you can deepen your connections. So, this person could be moving back home. They could be moving in with family. They could be returning to where they originally were raised. And they're finding that, oh my God, it's cheaper. I make more money. I have this wonderful community around me. My life is blossoming and growing. My business is now flourishing. I am doing so well. Whereas before I was trying to go out into the huge world, make my way in this other place, this other location, this other career path. And honestly, it wasn't all it was cracked up to be. You know what? I loved this story because it is such a great and refreshing perspective on not all stories are like, as long as we leave where we're from, then we'll go have success. I love the fact that this says, no, our greatest success sometimes is right where we already began, and we should invest right there. So really beautiful energy, really positive outlook for this character too. Thank you guys so much for being here. Thanks for giving it a thumbs up and subscribing. Lots of love. Bye.